Most people imagine life-changing mistakes as dramatic moments. Getting fired, losing a relationship, making a terrible financial decision. But in reality, many lives aren't destroyed by one big mistake. They're damaged by hundreds of small ones. Tiny habits repeated every day. So small they seem harmless, so normal they barely attract attention. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Because unlike obvious problems, toxic habits rarely announce themselves. They work quietly, slowly, patiently, until one day you realize years have passed and you're nowhere near where you wanted to be. Today, we're exploring the toxic habits that quietly sabotage happiness, success, health, and relationships, because the habits that hurt you most are often the ones you barely notice. 1. Constantly comparing yourself to others. For most of human history, people compared themselves to a few dozen individuals. Friends, neighbors, co-workers. Today, social media allows you to compare your life to millions. And that's a problem. Someone is always richer, more attractive, more successful, more talented. If comparison becomes a daily habit, satisfaction becomes almost impossible. What's worse is that you're usually comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's highlight reel. You see their victories, not their struggles, their achievements, not their failures. The result is a game nobody can win because the goalposts keep moving. 2. Living on autopilot. Imagine driving to work and realizing you barely remember the journey. Your brain was active, but your attention wasn't. Many people live their entire lives this way. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. Days become weeks, weeks become years. Without intentional reflection, it's easy to drift through life instead of actively shaping it. The danger isn't making mistakes. The danger is never stopping long enough to ask, is this actually the life I want? Autopilot feels comfortable, but growth rarely happens there. 3. Seeking constant comfort. Humans naturally avoid discomfort. That's normal, but modern life makes avoidance incredibly easy. Bored? Open an app. Stressed? Watch videos. Anxious? Distract yourself. Sad? Scroll endlessly. The problem isn't comfort itself, it's dependency. Every meaningful achievement requires temporary discomfort. Learning, exercising, building relationships, starting businesses, developing skills. When comfort becomes the primary goal, personal growth often stops, because growth and comfort rarely occupy the same space. 4. Procrastination, disguised as preparation. This habit is particularly sneaky. It feels productive. You research, watch tutorials, read articles, make plans, create spreadsheets, and somehow never begin. Many people spend months preparing for goals they could have started today. The illusion of progress becomes more satisfying than actual progress. The difficult truth? Action teaches lessons that preparation never can. At some point, more information stops helping and starts delaying. 5. Surrounding yourself with negative people. Attitudes are contagious. Spend enough time around pessimistic people, and their perspective begins influencing yours. Everything becomes impossible. Every opportunity contains a problem. Every challenge becomes a disaster. Negativity doesn't always arrive aggressively. Sometimes it arrives disguised as realism. But there's a difference between realistic thinking and habitual pessimism. One prepares you for reality. The other convinces you improvement is impossible, and that belief can quietly limit your entire future. 6. Ignoring your physical health. Many people treat their health like a backup plan, something they'll focus on later. After work becomes less busy, after life slows down, after they have more time. The problem is that health doesn't usually collapse overnight. Poor sleep, poor nutrition, lack of movement, chronic stress. These habits accumulate gradually. You don't notice the damage immediately, which creates the illusion that nothing is wrong, until the consequences finally arrive, and by then, fixing the problem is often much harder than preventing it. 7. Always needing instant results. Modern technology has changed expectations. Food arrives quickly, information appears instantly, entertainment is available on demand. Unfortunately, meaningful goals don't work that way. Building strength takes time. Learning skills takes time. Improving finances takes time. Healthy relationships take time. People who expect immediate rewards often quit before progress becomes visible, not because they're incapable, because they underestimate how long worthwhile things require. Patience has become a competitive advantage in a world obsessed with speed. 8. Avoiding difficult conversations. Many conflicts grow larger because people avoid addressing them early. A misunderstanding becomes resentment. A small issue becomes a major argument. A concern becomes a crisis. Avoidance creates temporary relief, but long-term damage. Healthy communication often feels uncomfortable in the moment. Yet that discomfort is usually far less painful than the consequences of silence. The conversations we avoid frequently become the problems we carry. 9. letting fear make decisions. Fear exists for a reason. It protects us from danger. But sometimes it protects us from opportunity too. Fear says, don't apply, don't ask, don't try, don't risk failure. The challenge is that fear rarely distinguishes between genuine threats and imagined ones. Many people don't fail because they make bad decisions. They fail because fear prevents decisions entirely. A life built around avoiding risk eventually becomes a life filled with regret. And regret tends to last much longer than fear. 10. Thinking small habits don't matter. This might be the most dangerous habit of all, believing that today's actions don't matter because they're small. One missed workout, one wasted hour, one unnecessary purchase, one late night, one excuse. Individually, none of these seem significant. But habits compound. Just like interest, repeated actions shape identity. The person you become tomorrow is largely determined by what you repeatedly do today, which means small habits aren't small at all. They're future decisions disguised as present ones. Outrow. Most toxic habits don't look dangerous. That's why they survive for so long. They're comfortable, familiar, easy to justify. But over time, they quietly influence nearly every area of life. Your health, your finances, your relationships, your happiness. The good news is that habits can work in both directions. The same consistency that creates problems can also create solutions. Because lasting change rarely comes from dramatic transformations. It usually starts with noticing one behavior, then changing it, then repeating that change until it becomes part of who you are. And that's how better lives are built, one habit at a time. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and turn on notifications for more insights into psychology, self-improvement, and human behavior.